Phew, that was thrill-a-minute stuff, wasn't it? I did say before the game I thought it would be one for the neutrals, just because of the nature of how both Villa and Liverpool play. Bizarrely, Aston Villa, I almost feel more confident that we're going to perform and perhaps get wins against the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea at home than saying Ipswich, who maybe will sit back a bit deeper. Please like, please subscribe. Please subscribe if you love the mighty Villa. Please subscribe if you're happy with the draw. And, in the end, I think Liverpool fans have come away from it thinking, how have we not got a third when Darwin Núñez misses an open goal? But Aston Villa fans as well be coming away thinking something very, very similar where right at the end, Morgan Rogers and Daniel Marlin both have, I wouldn't say easy chances, but two, well-worked chances that on another day, one of them goes in. And really impressive end to the game from Aston Villa, actually, really impressive, because I think it could very easily have been one of them where, Liverpool make it 2-2. And what usually happens, we get the drama of Liverpool and they score a late winner and, the press go mad for it. They're writing poetry about, Liverpool's late winner and they're going to go win the title and all that stuff. And instead, no, the last 15 minutes, it was really Aston Villa who, after, Darwin Núñez's big miss, it was really Villa then who I think were probably the more ascendant team, really. So as I said, I thought this was going to be a sort of a thriller-minute game. It'll be one for the neutrals, and I think that's kind of how it turned out to be. So look, let me know what you think. Please comment. Please let me know. I can see a few comments already. I'll get to that in a second. If you look at a few of the stats already, XG, I mean, amazingly, Liverpool 2.44. Jota should have missed a massive chance for them, didn't he? As I said, Darwin Núñez, massive chance he missed as well. And then obviously the two goals they got, I'd say Trent's goal was probably, the deflected goal was pretty low XG, I would say. But the first goal handed it to them on a plate, didn't we? After such a solid start, I think, from Aston Villa. I think it'd been a game where the two were almost kind of approaching the game in the same sort of way, not committing too much forward, kind of sitting deep, waiting for a moment to just win the ball back and then just pounce on the transition. I think Villa, to be fair, though, we looked like we were playing our way into trouble, kind of like Ipswich did the other day against us before they had their red card, and then went a little bit more safe at the back. I think with Villa, we looked a little bit more like we were every time we were trying to play it out the back, it felt like Liverpool were on us. And, McGinn looked quite unsettled in the first 10, 15. I thought, actually, Yuri Tielemans got man of the match. I just thought he looked a little bit off it in the first 15. And it just felt like a mistake was coming. Fortunately, we managed to get through that. But then by the time we get to the 30th minute, when you think Villa are actually starting to look the better team, poor old Andres Garcia, he'd started the game really well, and he'd given Curtis Jones a real nightmare out on the right. And I think Garcia looks progressively a very, very good player. And I think what you could say as well is that after that terrible mistake he made, let's face it, when he passed it straight to Jota then passes it straight across to Salah, who gets his customary goal against us. What you could say for Garcia is that, he responded well. He didn't panic. He didn't start making lots of mistakes after that. And I think fair play to him. He's a young guy. He's come into a new league, a new system, a whole new environment, new culture. It's a lot for him to cope with at a very young age. Coming from the Segunda Liga as well in Spain to the Premier League, I actually think he's adapted pretty well. And look, it's one big mistake. Every player makes them in their career. It's just how you bounce back from it. I think in fairness in the game, he did bounce back pretty well. And as I said, I think going forward in that final third, he looked like a real threat. So I think hopefully the signs are that we've got a real asset there. And I think in fairness, when Cash came on as well, I think Cash did really well. Defensively, he looked a bit more sure, didn't he, than I think Garcia did at times. That's just his experience. But I think getting forward as well, Cash actually looked like he was really causing trouble for Liverpool. So, yeah, good all round. Good for Garcia to bounce back from that terrible mistake he made. But brilliant for Villa to bounce back as well. We didn't allow ourselves as a team to collapse, to cave in. I can see more and more people are coming in and viewing. Please send in your comments. I'll get to them in due course, of course. And also as well, please do subscribe. Please do like, subscribe. It really helps us grow, helps us get all the guests on that we want and that sort of thing as well. So, but yeah, with Villa, brilliant way to bounce back in the first half. Set piece, we sent a few in today. I think set pieces looked a bit more dangerous than they did against Ipswich. We were very wasteful against Ipswich, but today I think we looked a little bit more threatening from it. And first goal comes about from that. It bounces back and forth. A good header back into the area from John McGinn. Sort of bounces its way to Yuri Tielemans and a tidy finish. Bounces over Alisson and a Liverpool defender. Maybe a little bit of luck in that, but you take it, don't you? Good stuff. Good for Villa to fight back, and then an absolutely brilliant goal, and I think one we deserved. Really, I think, like I say, I think we had looked like we'd really come into it. And I'm looking at the pressure stages in the game. I thought we were. Yeah, I thought we'd done all right. And so, yeah, brilliantly worked. It was Asensio coming deep, getting involved in the game. Liverpool fans will complain about the ball hitting McGinn's hand. On another day, that is given as a handball, but it is accidental, so you can see why the referee didn't end up giving it. But look, works its way out into Asensio, came deep, made things happen from deep. Really good work from him, a good incisive pass from him. I think it was Watkins laid it out to Dean. I have to watch it back again. Luca Dean with a really good cross into the area. And Ollie Watkins' movement and his timing and the finish, absolutely exceptional striker player from him all round. 12th Premier League goal of the season. He's probably on course for about 18 this season. I mean, he's scoring enough, isn't he? It's he's missed a lot of big chances. All top strikers do, because they get themselves into the position to do that. I think he probably would look at himself and say he should have more than he currently does. But the onus is on the rest of the team now to start chipping in. It's on the Rashfords, Asensios, Marlons, Rodgers, Ramseys, those players to now start supporting him with more goals as well, because that's a big part of why we're down on last season, is because the players around Watkins aren't scoring as many as well. So that's part of it. But look, brilliant to go in. I think, Liverpool, after we scored our first goal, that was when Jota got in. You say Garcia and Disasi, there was a big gap there. I think Disasi's looking straight at Jota. Garcia seems to be miles away from it. So it feels a bit like they need to, be a bit tighter, a bit more weight there. But at the same time, we're asking a lot of new defenders to just come in and be tight, So I think a good showing from them. And I think Disasi, fair play to him. I think he was largely actually pretty excellent tonight. I really liked how he played out. I think he looked very comfortable with the ball at his feet and playing out from the back. I think that was a really good performance from Disasi. I think defensively he was very solid as well. I think Mings at times, again, looked very solid in large parts. Obviously, there was that deflection off him. I think that's just bad fortune from him. I actually think the Liverpool's second goal, you could kind of feel it was coming. Jota hit the crossbar with an incredible effort. It just felt like Liverpool was slightly turning the screw and it might come. Came through a deflected goal. And I think actually what happened was it was Villa in our own final third. I think Rodgers made the wrong decision with an attempted pass. Whatever, that can happen in the final third. You try and make things happen. And Watkins gets in. What Watkins should do, I think, is just knock it beyond the defence and run on. Instead, he gets he gets tackled, and then Liverpool from there break. And I need to watch that goal back, but someone didn't track Trent charges forward. Great run from him. On transition, we get caught, as we have done a fair few times this season. And ball works its way back to him, and it's a goal. Somebody somewhere had to be tracking Trent and didn't. So that's where you could go for that. But then from there, if you look at, even if you go on the BBC website, Liverpool then really should have got a third. As I said, Darwin, that's an enormous miss from him. Wow. And I think Mings looked a bit shaken for about 10 minutes after that. I don't know whether it was the knee knock he got. He looked a bit, a little bit like it got into his head a bit, that. And, obviously maybe the goal going in off him as well. Maybe that sort of got into him a little bit. So, yeah, it was a bit of a shame, really. But I think, as I said, yes, Liverpool had that period of time where they really should have got a third, but we held on, and there was that one moment as well where Mings made a mistake, Darwin got in, but Martinez came and bailed us out, and Martinez bailed us out 2 or 3 times tonight. It's what you get when you get a world-class keeper. I think the same with Alisson. I think you look at Alisson and Martinez, and you see the value of having 2 of the best goalkeepers in the world, don't you? Because they're so capable of coming and claiming crosses, so capable of making saves and holding on to it and bailing you out when you need it. And I think Martinez did it twice tonight. There was another occasion where Martinez bounced out in the first half and got to Jota just before he was able to get in. So, yeah, from there, from that mistake that Mings made, which almost led to a Darwin getting him beyond, but good save from good reading of the game from Martinez. From there, Villa, I think, were the better team. And, I think Rashford, you can really see the quality he brings. You really can. Asensio as well, as I said, Asensio was so involved for that second goal. For the second goal. But I think you'd have to say that when Ramsey, Marlon, Cash came on, I actually think they made a positive influence. I think it's probably not a coincidence. Villa actually became the more ascendant team when they appeared, brought on the fresh legs. Liverpool have brought on fresh legs as well, but I think ours were a bit more effective. So yeah, and we were really unlucky not to win it. I mean, Rodgers took that shot at the end. I thought if it was on target, you never know. And you could see Emery's reaction. He said the Spanish for the F word, didn't he? And I think you can understand that. It's just we do miss those chances. We have missed a fair few of those late chances, haven't we, this season? I think back to the Brighton game as well, and massive chance there at the end to win that. And Marlon as well. That chance he did so well to work it, and it was not an easy chance. I thought it was going in, but yeah, it was a bit of a shame that didn't go in. But look, overall, I think you'd say you walk out of that 2-2, fair enough. You're drawn probably with the best team in Europe at the moment, arguably, and a team that looks like they're going to go and win the Premier League. I think for Aston Villa, if we're not going to get Europe this season, it's not those results. It's not the Liverpools at home. It's the Ipswich at home. It's Bournemouth at home in the last minute. Brighton at home, losing control of that when we were winning. It's Crystal Palace at home. It's games like that that win. That's what's costing us, really. But look, it's a big ask to now go and play Chelsea again this weekend, given that Disasi's not playing. Obviously, he can't play against Chelsea. It's a big ask to get these players to just keep on playing all the time. But with the form Chelsea are in, and the way Villa play, and the way Chelsea will try and come at us, and the way that Villa can hit you on the transition, can work chances, you really have to look at Chelsea and think you fancy it. There's no reason to think we can't win that game. You just kind of hope that there's somebody who can come in at right centre back, because at the moment I'm not 100% sure who it's going to be. I mean, Lamar Bogard. Yeah, hopefully Conte is back, but we'll see. But yeah, look, a good result in the end against the team that's probably going to go in the Premier League, and we were unfortunate not to win it. We were. So there, yeah. Anyway, let's go to some of the comments. Duncan Kilburn, good to see you again, Duncan. So unlucky Marlon at the end, called it 2-2 though, to be fair. I actually thought 3-2 either way was the way I went. The more cynical side of myself thought a valiant effort and it'll be a late Salah dramatic winner or something like that. But no, Villa, we don't really lose at home, do we? We don't lose at home, as Up the Villa says. Good to hear from you again, Up the Villa. Home record intact. It is. We're on all threads here at Up the Villa. Yep. Bernard Donnelly, good Irish name there. What a game. A terrific performance by the Villa. Disasi was excellent. I agree. I think Disasi looked really good. It sort of left me a little bit confused as to what it is that's gone so wrong at Chelsea, because he looks a really solid defender, I think. So far, so good, really. Disasi and Garcia are very good. I agree. I think apart from Garcia's mistake, As I say, I think there's been a lot of positive signs from him in the last 2 games, particularly when he gets into that final third and his progressive play. And yeah, a lot about him I like. I do. And I like that Aston Villa were able to respond as well as we did to that setback. We didn't let ourselves cave in, and Garcia himself didn't let himself cave in from it. So good, really good. Please like and subscribe. Just remind you that the subscribing helps us grow, helps us keep doing this. Helps us just everywhere, really. Please do subscribe and please hit like, please comment. Patrick Reed, Erin Pimentel, much better showing today. Excellent from Martinez and Rodgers. Yeah, I think Rodgers actually it was a bit of a wavy game for him. There were periods of the game where he was making the wrong decision, holding on to it too long. But actually, I think after essentially and Rashford went off weirdly, I think Rodgers really stepped up, and he was the guy. He turned into a game where Liverpool's defenders were bouncing off him and couldn't get the ball off him. And he's a really good player, and when it works for him, it bloody works. It really does. Patrick Reed, thank you for your comment. Except for the error for the first goal, I thought Garcia was excellent. I agree. I think he did a really good job. He's obviously still learning. Him and Disassi are still learning to play together. So there were periods where there was a lot of space between the two, but that'll come in time. So as I say, I like the look of Garcia. He's a very handsome man as well. I think there's a lot of people who like the look of him. Martin Osborne, Disassi looked really good tonight. He did. It was a solid effort. I think defensively, he was really good. And going forward progressively, he looked very comfortable on the ball. He did. And he obviously offers a threat from set pieces as well, because he's a big old lad. So you got to think, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores a few headers from corners and free kicks this season. Erin again. Good to hear from you, Erin. Let's not forget to give Ollie his dues. Lots of people scrutinising more than Duran's exit, but he finds a way to make an impact. Absolutely. I keep saying this about Ollie. I'm the chairman of his fan club. You don't know what you got till it's gone. You do not know what you've got till it's gone. And the day he goes, we are going to look at Villa and go, bloody hell, I miss Watkins. Do I think at times he misses too many big chances? Yeah. As I say, all the best strikers do. I'd say that would be something he'd be introspective about this season. So maybe he's missed 1 or 2. I actually think his hold-up play against Ipswich wasn't great, but today I think it was really good. He did really well against Canate and Van Dijk. His layoffs were really good. And as I say, when you watch Watkins live, you cannot not come away from the game massively appreciating the incredible effort he does and the work he puts in, his physicality, the way he drags the team up the pitch, the way what he does creates chances for the rest of the team. He's an absolutely fantastic player, Watkins. You don't know what you got till it's gone. And another thing, I saw quite a lot online this week about Garcia wasn't very good against Ipswich. Am I dreaming it? There's a lot of rage bait out there. I cannot stand Twitter accounts, Blue Sky accounts, whatever it is, that seem to just get off and slagging off players for reasons that just seem a bit like, it just feels a bit like you're trying to get attention. Nothing wrong with Garcia at all. I think he made the big mistake, but today, obviously, he's young, he's learning, but he showed a lot of positivity. Curtis Jones really struggled to deal with him, and he bounced back from that mistake in a really positive fashion. That's all you can ask from him, really, at his age. Coming in from Segunda Liga to the Premier League. A whole new country, a whole new culture. It's bloody cold here, isn't it? I'd rather be in Spain than here, I'll tell you that, but fair play to him. Duncan, Cash is good going forward. He's not an RB. I think he looked good tonight, Cash, all around, actually. And he's functional. He's a functional RB. I think he's at times a bit underrated by a lot of our fan base, but I don't think he's particularly overrated. I think he's largely, I think we know what he is. But I think there are some fans who don't rate him at all. I don't think that's fair at all. I think he does a very solid job by and large. But getting into that final third, at times, he doesn't look too confident himself beating a man. That's where Garcia, I think, does look a bit more natural in that final third, but we'll see. Patrick Reed, people get a Watkins for missing chances. Rodgers has a bit of a habit of not getting shots on target. Yeah, Rodgers has missed a couple of big ones this season. He missed a big one at Anfield, I remember, and he missed a big one tonight as well at the end. Again, that's something very young. I think if he's to look at himself, he'd probably say he could add more goals to his game just because of the positions he gets into and the chances he gets. just get more on target. The more he gets on target, the more he'll go in. Rob Hatton, like the look of Marlon, very direct and just needs a goal. Yeah. I think he looked good again when he came on. He looks like a little awkward handful, doesn't he? Bloody awkward player. Bloody awkward. BAP. That's what I'm going to call him. A bloody awkward player. Sounds like something David Brent would come up with, doesn't it? A bloody good rep. Chris Finch, a bloody good rep. Daniel Marlon is the Chris Finch of Aston Villa. A bloody awkward player. Bloody good player. And he's awkward. He's a little physical. Yeah, just one of them people I can see in my head if you played against him, you'd just be like, I feel like I should physically be dominating this guy because he's quite short of stature, but it doesn't happen because he just knows how to use his body and he's really quick and skillful. Again, positive signs from him. Weston, good to hear from you again. Thanks for all the comments you've been putting on the channel for a long old time now. We just have to beat Chelsea now, and who's to say we can't do it? They're there for the taking. The big ask, though, is the sheer volume of games we've got, which is a farce, by the way. Complete farce that Villa and Liverpool had to play tonight. Ridiculous. But, so Chelsea have the advantage in that sense. The last time they played was last Friday. But then, they're in a bad run of form, and maybe sometimes the way to get yourself out of form is just play quickly, play more games, get yourself out of it. And so maybe the longer wait actually doesn't help them. Adam, looking not to concede a few more. Yeah, we were. Darwin's miss was enormous. I genuinely think I could have scored that. I think a lot of people here could have scored that. That is not the finish of a world-class striker, is it? And you do wonder if Liverpool had someone a little bit different to him up front, where they'd be. I mean, they look like they're going to go win the lot, don't it? But they could be even better, is what I'm saying. Duncan Kilburn, Chelsea not in good form. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Adam, most frustrating thing is we're still ninth. I know. It's like, I think that's what was so upsetting about the Ipswich game. I think that's why a lot of us were so frustrated by it, because they're the games you got to win. And we haven't been doing that enough this season. That's what's frustrating. Because we showed again tonight, we really have such quality when we're at it. We really are a quality team when we're at it. We're an excellent team that is just flawed, and those flaws at the moment are just costing us. Europe's not out of the woods. It's not out of the woods, but we're making it hard for ourselves. We're leaving it late. Need to win against Chelsea. Lee Johnson, 2 great keepers tonight. I agree. Yeah, 2 excellent goalkeepers. 2 of the world's best. They are. Mr. NDL Design, good to hear from you. I think you've commented before as well, actually. Good to hear from you. Great effort and entertaining game. We missed Kamara so much that it's so easy to carve through us. Marlon looked sharp. Garcia has a brave performance, and Disasi did okay. Mings had a mare on Chelsea. I think Mings was all right, actually. I think Mings, it was after the goal we conceded and knock he took to his knee. He seemed quite unsettled for about 10 minutes. I think with that 10-minute spell, he was having a mare. But I think he actually, by and large, was all right. Just a shame, got into his head a little bit, I think, for that period of time. But I see what you're saying. Marlon looks sharp, he does. Garcia brave, good description. And we do miss Kamara, yeah. I think at times, you could see McGinn, particularly McGinn was playing on the edge a bit. He gave the ball away. First 10, 15 minutes, it was like he was trying to give a goal to Liverpool. And then 1 or 2 occasions where he maybe tried to turn in the wrong spot. It felt like he could just make the right decision here or there. But I think just Kamara. But look, I think McGinn actually played right overall. But yeah, I think Kamara is a world-class centre midfielder. He's our best centre midfielder, arguably our best player. So you're going to miss him. Yeah. Patrick Reed, the more Garcia and Disasi play together, the better they will get. Agree with you totally, Patrick. Absolutely agree. Gary Howlett, if we can win against Chelsea, we should be satisfied all in all. Yeah, I think so. 4 points from Liverpool and Chelsea. You're really happy with that? It's that Ipswich straw that's just nagging away at me. That. If we can get someone at Palace on Tuesday, I mean, what is the football calendar? Just, I wonder why so many players are injured. I wonder why. Well, it's just absurd. It's absurd. I mean, players might just at some point they should go on strike. They just should, because I don't care what they're paid. If they're made to play all the time, there's just going to be constant injury crisis, as we've seen for 2 years straight. for Villa. Spurs, which you never heard the bloody end of. Don't hear so much about it. Villa, do we? But hear about it for them. United at the moment. Arsenal now. It's just a shambles. Lee Johnson, felt sorry for Garcia, was our best player to his mistake. Yeah, I think you could argue he was definitely one of the most eye-catching players for us. As I said, Curtis Jones could land him, and when he was getting into that final third, he was making really good balls into the area that were causing a lot of problems for Liverpool. Adam, Rashford never tracks back, should have followed Trent. Yeah, no, I need to watch that goal back. I'm not sure who it was, but it could have been Rashford. And if it was, he's got to track back in that position. He does. Duncan Kilburn, Dean to blame for second goal. Okay, like I say, I need to watch that back. I'm not fully sure. Gary Howlett, Glammings is back, but he's not great passing it out way to casual. He can at times look casual passing it out. I don't know what that is. Look, I think Mings has attributes that Pau Torres doesn't have. He's not as good on the ball as Pau Torres. I think Pau Torres is one of the world's best ball-playing centre-backs. And obviously, we are going to miss that attribute, that side of his game. We are going to miss it, and we have missed it. It's a shame. It's a shame. Lee Johnson, no complaints about Dean. Kept Salah quiet. He did. I think he did a really good job against Salah. There were times when I watched Salah tonight where I thought he really is such a fantastic player. He's just a fantastic, brilliant player. And Luca Dean stood up really well to him. He did. And Dean does that. He does, in these games where he has to stand up to top quality fullback wingers, he's really solid. He is. Draw fair enough, says Gary. Yep, it is. Highest time we played in Asia tonight. Yeah. We weren't as good at playing the high line. Last season it felt like we always caught teams offside. Once or twice tonight we let players in. Soboslai, I think, got in when Mings had sat a little bit too deep. I think last season we'd have got that nailed on and right. But this defence haven't played together, have they? So the defence constantly having to be mixed up is just obviously that's going to play into why Villa are so inconsistent this season. English Richard Parks, thanks for all your comments. Richard, you do comment a lot. Thanks for your support. Please like and subscribe, everybody. Really helps us. Garcia, apart from one mistake, was man of the match. Surprised took him off, but to be fair, Cash did well. Same with Dean, surprised Matson came on. Yeah, a little surprised. I don't know. I guess he's just trying to balance up the minutes. There must be something he's been told by the sports science team that you have to take players off at certain times in the game. And so I guess that's why, because Dean's going to be playing against Chelsea and he's going to be playing against Crystal Palace on Tuesday. Garcia, man of the match. He's certainly first half, he really did well. And yeah, I think arguably for the first 30 minutes up to his mistake, he was our best player. Our awful goal difference could be our undoing for the European place. It's killing us. Yeah, that is true. It is killing us. Concede too many goals. David, take the draw and run. First shot on target was a goal again. Yeah, I mean, deepest sigh. How many times this season have we gifted goals away from just making mistakes, trying to pass it out from the back? We sort of cut that out a bit. We did it a lot earlier this season, particularly with Diego Carlos around. We don't do it so much now. But yeah, did it again. First shot on target. Lee Johnson, Rodgers needs to work on his big moments. Yeah. That was a big chance at the end. He probably should have got that on target. Gary Howlett, don't worry too much about league now. 7th is gettable in a cup final. Yeah, and the cup final is interesting you mentioned that because we are turning up against a lot of the big teams recently. Like we didn't at the start of the season. We lost a lot. 3-0 at Chelsea, 2-0 at Liverpool, 2-0 at home against Arsenal. But in more recent times, fight back against Arsenal 2-2. We've beaten Bayern Munich this season. We drew with Liverpool at home. There's another one I'm missing off the top of my head, but we Tottenham at home, beat them in the FA Cup as well. We could be a cup team. I think somebody mentioned that the other day on the channel actually, and maybe that means that we're a team for the big occasion. We certainly have the players to rise to the big occasion. So maybe that's what could get us winning an FA Cup. Maybe that the team we are, the nature of the team we are, could take us the whole way. Who knows? I mean, we can do it. We can win the FA Cup. We can. And Champions League, I'm daring to dream. I still think we've got a way to go in the Champions League as well. Going to be hard to beat Real Madrid, but dare to dream. Duncan, new signs all good, to be fair. Mings McGinn not on it enough. Yeah, I mean, look, partly lack of match practice. I think there are a couple of them, maybe overplaying for a few of them. And Mings, I think, yeah, as I say, I just think Mings was unsettled by that knock he took to his knee and the goal going in off him, which was just not really his fault. Just one of the things that happens. Lee, Watkins' goal was a Watkins masterclass. It really was. It was absolutely fantastic striker play from him. Like I say, for all the naysayers about him, for all the people who've been slagging him off for a long time, you do not know what you've got until it's gone. And the day he goes, we are all of us going to be there, staring into the distance going, I miss Ollie Watkins, the man who is going to be the top striker, top scoring Premier League striker for Aston Villa in our history. So he's going to do it. Yeah, people still slate Watkins madness, says Adam. Yeah, like I said the other day, I said he has missed too many big chances this season, and he definitely would look at himself and say he should have taken more of them. As I said, as I repeat, all the top strikers miss big chances. Erling Haaland does it. Isak does it. Salah does it. But yeah, he'd probably look and say there's one or two more he should have got this season. But at the same time, I think the players around him have to step up and start scoring more as well. And it's more on them rather than him, because he's doing his bit. He is scoring, making goals happen. And that goal he scored tonight, all-round play, hold up, passing out, timing of the movement, the finish. That is fantastic striker play. And that's why he's an England international. Lee Johnson, Watkins deserves slating. He's been shot most season. Well, yeah. Well, a bit different to what I just said there, Lee. I do love you, Lee. You leave great comments. Sometimes we're not always going to agree, are we? Sometimes we're going to disagree on things. Yes, he's missed too many chances. That's what I would say. But credit when it's due, as you say, Lee. So there we go. Duncan, Watkins has missed most big chances in the Prem. Yeah, he has. And as I say, he should have scored more. And he'll know that himself. But another thing's worth mentioning about Watkins is that Watkins, he hasn't played as much football this season in the sense that he kept coming off for Duran. So if you think about it, if Watkins had played the full 90 for more games this season, almost inevitably he would have scored more goals. And that maybe him coming off all the time impacted his own form and prevented him from getting into a good goal-scoring run. That is actually arguably, Duran, though he came on and gave us some Hollywood moments, maybe that did, in the end, prove to deprive us of Watkins' goals as well. I think there's probably a case for that. And I'd say if Watkins would probably have 3 or 4 more if he'd been playing more. But then at the same time, there's always the likelihood he might have got injured as well. So Edward Treadwell, shame Disassi can't play against Chelsea. Great team performance tonight. I agree. Yeah, I liked what I saw from Disassi. And yeah, good team performance. Good from the team to fight back and show spirit and show we are a team that can step up in the big occasion. Nick Kamara back versus Chelsea. Agree, Duncan. Yeah, I'd love to see him back. Enzo Fernandez running deep, trying to marshal the midfield, Enzo Fernandez, and throwing McGinn and Tielemans in again to deal with him when they've just exerted so much energy playing Liverpool tonight is a bit of a worry. I will say that. Michael Gillespie Mings is a liability. He was for 10 minutes. But he is a solid centre back. He is, and I'm glad we've got him. I'm certainly glad we got him right now, because if we didn't, yeah, God, I'm glad I'm back from injury. Dre AM, or Dre AM. I'm really worried about our defence. Yeah, I'm worried about this weekend actually with our defence. I mean, if Disassi's not there, Bogard at right centre back. It's not, and then bloody Mateta on Tuesday night. Paul Aston. Hard to believe where Garcia's come from and now is fitting in. Mistakes had a great game. Yeah, agree with that, Paul. It's a really impressive showing from him. It is. Adam Watkins are also our top scorer and assist leader in the league. The big chance of stat is nonsense. Yeah, he is all round. It is. He's contributing again this season massively. We wouldn't be in the Champions League without him. Duncan Kilburn, Rodgers better in the middle. Yeah, funny old player, Rodgers. There's been times when I think he's the heir to Ollie Watkins as a striker. I think one day he could be a striker. Funny player. I don't actually know his best position fully. There's times I think when he's a bit wider, he looks better. But then a lot of occasions, I think he looks a lot better centrally as well. So it's weird player. Dre, I'm not sure about Mings. Yeah, after the Trent goal, he struggled a bit, but I think he actually ran an all right game. He's not as good on the ball as Powell. We all know that he's not. Paul Aston Watkins moving for the goal, superb. Yeah, it was awesome. Was a bit of a late bloomer in the game. Yeah, he was. It was after Rashford and Asensio went off. I don't know why. Maybe because he felt he had to step up and be the lead man, take on the lead role, become the. He went from being one of the Avengers to being this is now my movie. He went from Thor and the Avengers to Thor Ragnarok. This is me. I'm the star and role. And I'm going to Thor's hammer, lay the smack down. And he did step up after that. I think after that, it was one of them. It turned into one of them games where you think, why have you tried to take a player on there? And then what do you know? Two defenders just bounce off him. Amazing strength he's got. Rodgers' move position then was fire. Yeah, agree with David. Marlon looked great coming on. He did. Thought Disasi looked good, very good, says the Welland Valley. Yeah, did. Duncan Marlon's quality should start right wing. He's very good. Question about him at Dortmund was always consistency. But what he's shown so far, he'll certainly be a very solid squad player for us if he can continue the form he's showing right now. Marlon needs to be starting to know more Rodgers on the right. Yeah, you could argue this weekend you could go Marlon on the right, Rodgers central, Asensio on the bench, and then you have Asensio to come on and change the game. Maybe. Rodgers out and out number 10. Yep. PSG is 10-0 on aggregate. So that must be, God almighty, I dread to imagine what that score must be because I know PSG beat them 3-0 last week, was it? 7-0 tonight. Gee whiz. I actually have PSG down to win the Champions League now. The comeback they had against City to get into Champions League, one of the performances they had at home, they're the team I look at the most in the Champions League now and think, I think I'd rather avoid them. They're the one. They just look very, very incisive, and a couple of players have come good at the right time, Barcola and Ousmane Dembele. So, yeah, if I was to put money on right now, I think PSG win the Champions League. Dre AM, it seems that we can open up the defence of the stronger teams, but struggle to open the defensive teams lower down. It's very true. And that's where I think Asensio is the player for the lower teams because he's just one of them who can, in a tight space, be a lot picker. We, work our way through a team and just have a moment of inspiration that I think can do it. So, yeah, hopefully his presence will help. Fifth in the Premier League, still very doable. I think it's going to take a winning run, it's going to take some winning run. I'm not sure. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm being a little bit cynical about it. I haven't looked at the league table. Villa were in 9th level on points. Fulham behind them on goal difference. We're 4 points off 5th, but got a game in. They've all got a game in hand over us right now. You have to assume one of them's going to win. Big ask to get Champions League, but still. A lot of football to be played. You never know. Dre AM, we look exciting going forward. There's this feeling that we're going to pull off a late winner. Yeah. That last 15, we really stepped up. We didn't, it was all written, wasn't it, for Liverpool to go and get that dramatic late, the dramatic late Liverpool winner, and this means more, and we that's how we do it. We win when we need to, and. It was Villa who were the team at the end. And gee whiz, I thought that Marlon chance might be sneaking in. Thought it might. Michael Gillespie, we need to go on a run now. We can still get top 5. Yeah. We can, but we need a run. And we need the teams above us to slip up. In fairness, they are all doing it. Seemingly, apart from Bournemouth right now. Impressed with Garcia. With more time in the Premier League, I figure this is going to grow more comfortably in his position. Yeah. Think about what he could be in a year's time. Think about that. He looks a really good snip. 7-8 million from the second division in Spain. He looks a real player. He does. Adam, too much traffic ahead of us and too poor defensively for fifth for me. Yeah, I think that's where I sit. I think we just conceded too many goals. And I think ultimately there's a lot of games at home this season. We've drawn, we should have won. And I think that is what's going to cost us if we don't get it. But look, for me, European football is a success. It doesn't matter if it's Conference League, Europa League, whatever it is, I want it. I want us to continue this journey within Europe. I think not getting it would be a setback for us in a lot of ways, and I hope we get it. Dre AM, we need to be careful attempting to play offside. We still need to follow the likes of Jota and co. Yeah, a couple of occasions tonight, you could see it was a back four that hadn't played together and weren't quite making the right decisions on when to be in line together. They were slightly out of position with each other and weren't following their man at the right time on occasion as well. But that's the nature of these guys not playing together. So, I give them leeway. I'm sure most people would. Ben 76 seems struggling against low block teams, more effective against teams that come and attack us. Yeah, that's why I was weirdly more confident about Liverpool and Chelsea than I was Ipswich. Weird. James Wood, evening all UTV. Good to hear from you, James. Thanks so much for your comment. For all those who are joining us, I can see there's lots of people joining. Thank you so much. If you subscribe, you support Aston Villa. And if you don't subscribe, these are the rules. I didn't write them. If you read the YouTube terms and conditions, it's in somewhere in there. I don't know why it's in there, but it says if you don't subscribe, you're a Birmingham City fan. I don't make the rules. Whatever you do, don't break them. Click that subscribe button. Click like, comment, all that. Yo, Frankie says, Richard Edward. Good to hear from you, Richard. You've been saying nice things on this channel for a long old time. Thank you so much. As have you, James Wood. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Adam, most goals conceded from mistakes in the league. Is that so? I haven't seen that stat, but when I think on us this season, I wouldn't be surprised if it's true. Would not be surprised at all. And that ultimately is the difference between being a top-class team and being a team that at times looks brilliant, but cannot get the job done because we always have a moment of madness within us. Duncan Kilburn saying hi to Richard. Richard saying hi back. Good to see we've got an old community going on here. I love it. All Villa, no filler. Disassi v Chelsea, do you think he will be allowed to play? I don't think so. Good team performance, says Richard. It was. We're winning the UCL, says British Mick. Thanks for your comments again, British Mick. Dare to dream. I look at PSG, particularly PSG. I'm telling you, go watch them. Something about them has just clicked, and I think they've hit my form at the right time. But there's always that Real Madrid trump card there in it. They've just gone and battered City. So you'd say Real Madrid and PSG are the two for me. But you never know. You never know in football. No Disassi against Chelsea, says James Wood. Yeah. I'd love to get to Wembley, says Richard Edwards. Yeah. We're 2 games away. If we can beat Cardiff, weirdly, I look at Cardiff and think, it reminds me of Ipswich. It's going to be exactly the same. We're going to go into that game. It's going to be, we're going to win this, right? We're going to create loads of chances and win it. And then somehow, we just don't score. And we somehow concede from one shot on target. So, the ingredients are there for an upset. Got to be good against Cardiff. Got to be on it and got to take chances. I'm not even joking. Emery as a cup manager will have the vital players back. Why not? Why not? He's won the Europa League 4 times. He's got Villarreal to a Champions League semi-final. Why can't he go one step further and get to a final with Aston Villa? Why not? Dare to dream. Duncan Kilburn, new players all looking good. Yeah, largely they were. Dirty Dogs and Diesel, good name, Triple D, I like that. Liverpool didn't play bad tonight with a very strong team. We did brilliantly against them. I think we were unlucky not to get the 3 points. Yeah, I think we were unlucky. Obviously, Liverpool look at it and say they should have taken a few more of their big chances. But all in all, I think we had a lot of big chances as well, and we're lucky ourselves not to win it. Watkins' movement was superb, says Richard. It was. His layoffs were very good tonight as well, by and large. Rashi and Michael looked fit and strong each game. Yeah, I thought the two of them looked. You can just see their quality, and I think the second goal. If the highlights packages show it from the start of the move, watch Asensio come deep and ask for the ball and make really clever, incisive passes. He's quality, Asensio. Really good. Watkins Martinez not being at the best this season. Yeah, I think you could argue that. I think you could argue they could be a little bit better than what they've been. But in the end, they're still two of our best players. T-Banger, come on, Villa. We could have won, but a point is okay. Yep, it's fair enough. James Wood, Andrew Cole missed more chances than he scored. Wasn't a bad player. Yeah, exactly. Andy Cole. I saw him score at the Villa for Newcastle years and years ago. Marlon so unlucky with the last shot as well tonight. Yeah, he was. I'm going to try and say this. Patrick Borgested. I think that's a Scandinavian name, I want to say. Good. Thank you for your comment. I think we can do better than Rashford this summer. Well, you never know. I mean, look, Rashford is going forward so far for Villa. He looks the part, doesn't he? He really adds something. He tries to make things happen. A bit like Rodgers. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it does, it looks good, doesn't it? Marlon looking sharp. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, Richard. Nigel Brooks, keep playing like that and we'll be sound. We're overdue battering, so 1-2. New signings have given whole team a bit of the derriere. Yeah, there's certainly they're a shot in the arm. I just wish our defence was fit. I wish we had a settled defence and Kamara was fit, because then those attacking players would have a solid base on which to perform, rather than always thinking, I'll do something, but at the back there's going to be a mistake at some point. Or, it's just frustrating. Richard, thought we were going to nick it in the final minutes. Yeah. So for Villa soon, says Duncan. I think so. I really believe so. And, that FA Cup this season, I think it's there for us. T-Bang and Marlon needs a goal, but looks hungry and a better bet than Bailey. He does at the moment. It was a tight one draw, probably right, but unlucky. Yeah. Sorry. Somehow lost my way. The camera went down there. Right. God, there's so many comments. I better not. Look, it's quite late, so I better not get on too much. Melter shirts. Just get a little less sloppy in transition. Final third, and that draw is a win. Great performance. Big cues. Can we keep it up? We'll smash Chelsea on Saturday if we play like that. Yeah, I agree. I think Chelsea are there for the taking. It's just the game volume and defence. Disasser's a big miss. Depends who plays in defence for us, I think. Nick, after a shaky start, McGinn played well. Yeah, he did. I thought McGinn was all right, actually. It was just that 10-minute period after the goal that he lost his way. But, came back and Dirty Dogs and Diesel. Mings was playing hurt last 20. Yeah, exactly that. Villaman 0. We did all right tonight, though. No complaints as we all thought we were going to get beat for an answer ourselves. A point gain against a good Liverpool team. See how can be positive. Yeah, look, exactly. I think that's fair enough. I think that's really fair enough. George, the username. Impressive team performance. Can't afford many draws, though. Chelsea and Palace will be illuminating for a final position, leaving it late. We're leaving it late. I mean, look, if we can get 4 points out of Chelsea Palace, I think that's really good. Palace away is hard. They're just in good form. Chelsea at home, I think we can do it. I think we can. If we could get 6 points, then you start to think, all right, top 5 might not be impossible. Really might not be. Right, I'll go on down. Flange, you can't blame him this season, given the fact we have midfielders working the back line. Yeah, good to see you again, Flange. Thank you so much for your comments. Loving the community. You say, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Like and comment. Please share. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you don't subscribe, you're a Birmingham City fan. Apparently, that's the rules. I didn't make them. Lee Johnson, Frankie, we're going to win the Champions League. Let's all go to bed with happy thoughts. Power positive thinking. Yeah. Like I say, football's funny, and there's no reason to think we can't have a draw that maybe just works for us. If PSG and Real Madrid get each other, we sort of avoid those sorts of teams and maybe get 1 or 2 that end up being quite beatable all the way to the final. Who knows? Who knows? Dennis Farrell, 2 goals ruled out, hit the post. Liverpool won and should have won. Pretty even game. Yeah, it was pretty even. And yeah, we did have 2 goals ruled out. I mean, oh God, yeah, Ramsey. God, he was just a millimetre offside, wasn't he? Oh, good finish as well. Was it actually the first shot we conceded tonight? Yeah, it was. It was. I'm sorry if I've missed a comment here. I just getting down to it. Kevin Jeans, thank you again for your comment. Champions League and FA Cup is there for us. I'm telling you. Yeah, it is. James Wood, keep up the good work, Frankie. Always one of my go-to podcasts on my drive to work. That is absolutely amazing to hear, James. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for all the nice comments again. Thank you for everybody who regularly comes back and watches and listens. It means massive amounts. Honestly, just love doing this. And the best thing is now when I go to Villa Park, every time I go, people come up and talk about, watching or listening to the podcast. It helps. It's just awesome. It just means you make friends, and we're all Aston Villa fans. We're going to be Villa fans the entirety of our lives. So, every time we see each other, we'll always have that connection, won't we? Richard Edwards, Rashford for 40 million in the summer. It's in the loan deal. Don't think we could get better for that money. I think the same. Wages, not sure. I'm not sure we could do it without Europe at least. Let's have a quick look. Tutor Frank, who do you want in the next round? Euros, Frankie? Bruges or Dortmund or Club Brugge? Don't write off Brugge. That was a really impressive display against Atalanta. Really excellent display away, and they were hitting them on the break in the way I think they do to us. So neither of those are easy. We've already lost to Bruges, but at the same time, that game we were poor, but we actually were the better team largely. And the goal we conceded was just an absolute shambles, wasn't it? They're picking the ball up. So we got to Brugge or Dortmund. I think what I would say is, yes, there's a world in which they can both beat us, but I absolutely believe we can beat both of them. And something happening in these cup competitions this season with Villa, and it's on. One of them's on. Great show, Frankie, says Richard. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And I really appreciate your comments, the support you always give us, Rich. And Jimbo, brilliant post reaction. Thank you so much. Again, that's amazing to hear that. Kevin Jeans, I want revenge for Mings, Brugge for me. Yeah, same here. I'd like that. I'd take Brugge. I'd take that. Dortmund is the glamour one, though, isn't it? Pretty nice watching Villa play in front of that yellow wall. And I don't think Dortmund are all that this season. I don't think they are. I think they are there to be beaten. Either one of them, I think. Excited. I think we can do it. Flange, going to Cardiff, Frankie. The plan was to go. Now that it's on a Friday night, just because of the logistics of doing it, I'm not sure. I'm hoping to. We shall see, is what I would say. Villa Man 0. Brugge looked good against Atalanta. They did. And one of the goals they scored in the break was absolutely fantastic. And Atalanta, they were the team I wanted to avoid most out of anyone. So the fact they're knocking them out and have done the job they've done to even just get this far in the Champions League, really impressive. Really impressive. 10K Villa and Brugge taking over. Yeah, let's do it. Beautiful city. Never been. Everyone who's ever been tells me it's a beautiful city. And obviously I've seen the film In Bruges. And did you know Brendan Gleeson, the star of In Bruges, and his son Domhnall, the star of Ex Machina, fantastic film that. Aston Villa fans. They are big old Aston Villa fans. Part of the Irish Aston Villa fan community. A lot of them out there. I myself am technically part of it because I am Irish, got the passport, and part of the Irish Brummie community. I know. So, yeah, love it. Richard, confident we will score. It's our defences worrying me. We ain't got a settled back line. Yeah, exactly the same. We always have a goal to concede in us as well as a goal to score, which is why we keep drawing all the time. 2-2 at home. Bournemouth 1-1. Palace 2-2. Brighton 2-2. Can't hold on. That's the problem with us this season. Jimbo, I think we can go far in the Champions League as we did last time we won it. Foot the pedal in the league and foot off the pedal in the league and done well in the Cups, including Champions League. Yeah, it's a good comparison. Early 80s. Beating PSG and Real Madrid is a big ask. But As Ron Saunders himself said, would you bet against us? Tuesday Nick, that stadium in Brugge is brutally grim, though. Dortmund a much better experience. Yeah, it didn't look nice, the Brugge Stadium. It looked a bit of a, like going to a really tough League Two game away from home. And yeah, but yeah, we'll see. Flange, I'll look out for you so I can buy you a beer. Thank you so much, Flange. Usually what I do before a game, I tend to sit in the Trinity Road, so I tend to go into the concourse area and try and get in there quite early for a drink because it takes bloody ages to get served, doesn't it? And then after games, usually I go to the Aston Social or the Aston Inn. Again, takes a while to get served, but we all love it in there, don't we? Proper Villa man, Flange flirting with you, Frankie. Wow. I am very flattered. I'm very flattered for anyone to flirt with me. Not something that happens very often. Because quite often I drive the conversation towards Aston Villa. So I could have, the most beautiful person on the planet talking to me. And then 20 seconds I'll go, so by the way, did you see Aston Villa last season, 3-3 against Liverpool? Aston Villa Liverpool games are really exciting, aren't they? Where are you going? Where are you off to? I'd say I've interviewed a fair few Hollywood stars who you would say are, some of the world's most desired people. It took me about 10 seconds in every interview to talk about Villa. So, yeah. What was that? Flange, card, red, penalty, card, red, penalty. Might be missing something there. Can't remember. James Wood, crazy Man City, the first English club out of Europe. Got to love the new format. Yeah, City, their loss of form this season is absolutely incredible. And I think it does show how incredible Rodri is. Remember when we beat them last season and we should have beaten them 5-0 in that game? That came during a period of time when their form had gone shaky and was reflective of how bad they've been since Rodri got injured this season. When they were poor last season, that was when Rodri was injured. The warning signs are there for them. They need something. They need some kind of backup for him. They didn't have it, but it's impossible to replace him because I think he's the world's best player. I think he deserved the Ballon d'Or. Every time I've watched him, I think he's incredible. And yes, they're just not the same without him. And so City going out, it's a big surprise, but at the same time, their form since November has been so bad that you would say it's not a surprise anymore. So yeah, there we go. And the new format, I do like it. It works for me. I think the Champions League had got a bit tedious. I think it was the same teams all the time. The league format got boring. This season it's been much more. I just think it's more interesting. Maybe because Villa are involved, but I don't know. I just think it's better. Hit the like, says Richard. Please do hit that like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. Kevin Jeans, can anyone believe Aston Villa got further in Champions League than Man City? What a time to be a Villa fan. Yeah, absolutely. And they've been bloody lucky with their draws in the FA Cup. Absolutely unbelievable fortune. The teams they've drawn all lower league. Plymouth, Argyle at home next round as well. Having just played Leyton Orient away. I mean, get lost. If any team doesn't deserve luck. But yes, they're still there in the FA Cup. Yes, they are going to be a hard team to beat if we end up playing them later down the road. But we've done them once this season, and they are vulnerable. We can do them. We can win it. You going, Red Fella? Definitely, Kevin. Good on you. Tunic Barton Arms was reopened. Was good before the Celtic game. Not as busy as I expected. Okay, that's good to hear. Something I'm excited for as well. The Warehouse coming in. I think it opens for the Black Sabbath concert this summer. If you're going, let me know. I mean, what the lineup for that is absolutely unbelievable. The Warehouse I think opens to that, and I'm really excited about that. You've got to give credit to the Villa. There's been a lot of criticism about a lot of off-the-field stuff this season, but you've got to say a lot of it's improved. The club shop's incredible. The fan zone's worked. It has. Always rammed. Gets fans to the stadium earlier. The club shop's incredible. The Warehouse coming in is going to be a brilliant facility to have at Villa Park. Hopefully they don't charge a load of money to get into it, which kind of defeats the purpose of it. But it'd be great as well for after the game as well. I think Villa has long needed something at the stadium to do after, to stick around. And I hate to talk about revenues, but it all helps. It all helps. And hopefully, in time, as those revenues rise, that can mean ticket prices come down, because ticket prices cannot stay at the rate they are in the long term. They just can't. Rodri, massive player. He absolutely is. Kevin Jeans, we are winning a trophy while the Blue Nose are getting excited about the league. The virtual nothing cup. Yeah. Got a story to tell. I went to the 1995 Auto Windscreen Shield final with my dad because he was a Birmingham City fan. I've said this a million times before. My dad's a Blues fan. I went there sickened that I went. It was a year after I went to see Aston Villa win the League Cup for the Villa, win the League Cup against Man United 3-1. One of the greatest days of my life. But I went to that all windscreen final with my dad because he needed company, didn't he? It's a sad life as a Blues fan. And I remember, and Paul Tate scored? Was his name Paul Tate? And he ripped off his shirt and he said, "Shit on the Villa." I mean, what a pathetic existence that club is, really, at times. Look, I want all the Midlands clubs to do well. I do. But there's just objectively, a small-time mentality when all they do is sing about Aston Villa. They're obsessed with us. Small, tiny. Grow up, lads and ladies. Grow up. And the biggest moment of their entire history, winning the Auto Windscreen final in 1995 against Carlisle United with an extra time winner. And you go and do it with a shirt that talks about your biggest local rivals. It's like the girl in school who pretends she hates the bloke she's secretly obsessed with, like Helga in Hey Arnold that used to be on Nickelodeon. Or it's the guy who's been dumped by his ex and he's like, I'm over it. It's fine. Yeah. How are they doing, by the way? And every night they're on Facebook looking at their account, going through, looking at all the old photos of them together, looking at all the old photos of another bloke, wondering, oh, who's that guy? Who's that? Looking at the comments and, accidentally like one of their pictures. And it's like, oh no. That's what Birmingham City are. Obsessed. Probably sitting there in bed, all the Blues fans right now, reading about Aston Villa. Or crying about something. I don't know. I think I've had a bit of difficulty with my internet here, so hopefully I'm still going. I can't seem to get up the comments at the moment. Let me bring that down. I'm sure that'll make a difference. There we go. Got there in the end. Where were we? Flange and Frankie in a tree. Richard Edwards, 0. First play big teams in Champions Leagues. Jimbo was struggling against so-called minnows at home and abroad. Yeah, that's arguably true. Jonathan Keane, can't get the comment up for some reason. As I say, I think I had a little bit of internet issue there. I really see us getting into the semis of both Champions League and the FA Cup with a bit of luck. Could go all the way in one. More likely FA Cup. I agree. As I say, I think the FA Cup's there. I really think we can win it. I do. Top 6, 7, Jonathan Keane. Yeah, look, that would do me. We get Europe. I just want it. If it's Conference League, Europa League, Champions League, all of it, I want it. Richard Edwards agrees. I'll read out some of these. I can't get the comments up now for some reason. 6, 7, I'll be happy. A Wembley trip would be a great season. Yeah, it would. Hopefully 2 Wembley trips in the FA Cup. It's all gone quiet. Over there. Jonathan Keane, top 6, 7 would be great based on what we've seen so far. It would. I think given the fact we're in the Champions League and how difficult it is to compete, regularly in the Champions League, it'd be a real achievement to get Europe again, I think. Richard, owners are absolutely brilliant. Saved our club from the brink. I have nothing but love and respect for them. Yeah, same. For the time being. Long term, we'll see how it goes. I mean, look, it all started well with Lerner. Then it went absolutely tits up. And I detest that man for what he did. But I'd like to think these owners are not, Atairos, Comcast, I think, involvement. it just seems like too much of a serious operation. It seems like too many heavy hitters are invested in Villa now for us to really be a club that falls away. You know, we spent a lot of money in the Lerner O'Neill years. The taps got turned off. We didn't get Champions League, and we paid the price. There's a risk that could slightly be repeated. If we don't get Europe, we're probably going to have to sell one or two players we don't want to sell. But at the time being, I think we're a more serious operation than we were back then. I think revenues are going up. We seem to be better at player trading than we were, but we'll see. Jury's still out a little bit on that. But I think we're in far better hands than we were in 2010. I'll put it like that. So, yeah, we'll be all right, I think. We'll be all right. James Wood, some cleverer people than me must be able to still do much to Villa Park before ever thinking about moving. Yeah, now that is a podcast I want to do totally separately, and I'm going to start doing these regularly live every week, and I might do the spicy question as a live as well. And I want to do it on Villa. Do we stick or twist? Do we do an Everton and leave? Do we do a Liverpool and rebuild? I think the general fan consensus would be to stick around. We'll see. I think it's a debate for another day, that one. Big old question. Where are we? Kevin Jeans, within 40 seconds of their semi-final, the Blues are singing anti-Villa songs. Embarrassing. It is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Richard, I used to live in Chelmsford Wood and my big brother was a Blue Nose. Moved to King's Standing. I supported Villa. It's been so good every Christmas seeing him. I love that. I love it. What a sibling rivalry that must be. Chelmsford Wood, big place for me. I used to play football there every single week as a teenager. Used to go to Mark Fogarty Academy there. And yeah, I can't remember the exact location. It was on a big AstroTurf running track in Chelmsford Woods. I used to be there every week. And the best player I ever saw in my life was from there. I think could have been a Champions League player. He was absolutely one of the few players over my life I've been totally in awe of and just felt out of my depth with. And just never made it because just didn't quite work out focus-wise. That was how I was put it. Shows you there's a lot of great players fall out of the game, don't they? Kevin G's PS, and you could hear a pin drop the rest of the game. Yeah. My dad was in the Blues then in '94, says Villa Man Zero when we beat them, silently smiling with my brothers. I wasn't allowed to go, too young and probably would have blown the cover as well. I like that. Do you know what? I barely remember that game for some reason. I don't think it was on TV because I just don't remember it. I just don't. I've watched the highlights of it since. But I remember every big game for Villa back then. And I suspect that I might have been put to bed. And the next day, my dad just didn't tell me about the game because he wouldn't want to tell me because he's a Blues fan. Obviously playing up, isn't it? Anyway, look, I think my internet might be going down. Hello, can you still hear me? I'm still there. Look, as I say, my internet's clearly not playing well, nice for me tonight. I am still here, but look, I better head off. Look, absolutely fantastic. I love doing these lives. I love chatting with everybody. Please like, please subscribe, and if you've got any comments as well, just comment later as well, and I'll respond. So, but yes, thank you so much, everybody who's been watching and following. Very unlucky tonight not to win it. At the same time, you'd say Liverpool missed some big chances, but what character Villa showed, what character we showed. Really enjoyed this, and yeah, I'll do it again